This video documents past and present pubs and inns of Tring, as requested by Nick from our Tring Memories Facebook group. We actually have approximately 20 Nicks, 30 if you include Nikki and Nicholas. Anyway, Nick, thank you for the suggestion. You know who you are. It's taken longer than anticipated, as I decided to include some lesser known buildings, some long gone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Fluffy and Buffy Productions. Please comment on the YouTube video rather than the Facebook groups, as this keeps all the memories and dialogue in one place. Starting with the Pheasant on the corner of Grove Road and Wingrave Road. The Pheasant closed in 2014, and in 2015 it was converted into houses, now known as Pheasant Cottages. It had changed its name back to the Pheasant a few years before its closure, having previously been known as the New Mill, named after the area of Tring that it is situated. It has a wooden extension to the back on the upper floor. Let's see if I can get a better view of that. I think it looks okay. What do you think? Although when you come round this side there are no windows or anything, maybe it looks a bit strange. Your comments are appreciated. Please leave them on the video. The Robin Hood, recently visited by Keanu Reeves in February 2023 when he popped in for a surprise visit and was happy to meet the kitchen staff and pose for photographs. The Robin Hood is a 16th century pub on the corner of the High Street and Brook Street. It is one of Tring's oldest buildings. I've seen it mentioned on several sites as being 17th century, but I'm pretty sure it's 16th. Just round the corner from the Robin Hood is Sir Glis, our newest wine bar nightclub, a real asset to Tring with its live music and entertainment. It was previously the Gym Works. There's not much to see here at the moment, but it will come to life in the evening. Akeman Street. I have lots to mention in Akeman Street, so let's start with the Akeman. Established in 2007, it was previously a private residence. It was built in 1901 and designed by the local Tring architect William Huckvale, who was the architect to the Rothschilds family. This is a great photograph of Akeman Street in 1896. The Harrow is on the right, directly opposite what is now Clement's Place, which I believe was Clement's Yard. The Harrow is long gone. It stood next to this building at the entrance to Harrow Yard. The Swan Beer Shop. I remember this as being Spider's art gallery and gift shop. It's now residential, right next to Tabernacle Yard. I said I had lots to say about Akeman Street, and here is our next one, number 28, the Royal Oak. Right next to this little archway, which I've always found fascinating as it's so low, I couldn't help peeping through. I couldn't find out too much about this building, but it was a pub at some time called the Royal Oak. On the left, looking down Akeman Street towards the High Street, is the Old Swan. On the right is a barn known as the Black Barn. The museum is now on this site. Our last pub in Akeman Street was the Jolly Sportsman. It was demolished to build Louisa Cottage's almshouses, and it stood round about here. Jolly Sportsman is on the left of the street in this picture, and on the right you can see the black barn again, which is opposite the Old Swan. Just a short walk down the road from the museum in Park Road is the castle. This is a Victorian pub and it is still alive and kicking. The King's Arms in King Street is in the centre of the conservation area of Tring, known as the Tring Triangle. Built in the 19th century, around 1830, for John Brown's Tring Brewery, which is now a stationer's in the High Street. The building is almost 200 years old. The Anchor, originally built as two cottages, numbers 71 and 73 Western Road. It has acquired a wooden structure to the front for outside seating. I believe this is a fairly recent addition and probably since COVID. This is a great picture with the Bricklayers' Arms on the right and the Britannia in the distance. The Bricklayers' Arms would have been at 45 Western Road. This property no longer exists, but it would have been on the corner of Duckmore Lane, which was known as Bottle Cross, possibly named after a house nearby which was decorated with bottles on the wall. In the census of 1881, it is listed that James Clark of Willstone was resident here, and that he was a bricklayer and a retailer of beer. The Britannia, on the junction of Western Road and Park Road. As you can see, the architecture is similar in style to the King's Arms. This is not surprising, as it is also a Brown family-run public house from around the same 19th century era. This pub closed in the early 1980s and was converted to a private residence, and the name changed to Norfolk House. Tucked away behind the high street in the centre of Tring is the Craftyard, specialising in gin and craft beer and boasting 90 different flavours of gin. Now there's a challenge. This entrance is in Parsonage Place, but there is also an entrance on the high street. The George Hotel. This is the old building before it was rebuilt in 1897 by the Aylesbury Brewing Company. On the left you can see the George, very similar to how it looks today. It's called George House and houses Costa, along with other local businesses whose offices are upstairs. The Conservative Club, the tallest building in the row, built at the end of the 19th century and designed by architect William Huckvale, of course. Incidentally, William Huckvale had his office in the building to the left of the Conservative Club, on the first floor, in that room with the large white bay window. There's Johnny. The Dolphin Square development, which opened in 1980, is named after the Dolphin Inn, which once stood on this site. The Dolphin Inn was converted into a workman's hall or cocoa tavern by the Reverend Arthur Frederick Pope in the early 1870s. At number 39 Frogmore Street was the Victoria Public House. This was demolished to make way for the Dolphin Square development. Chicken Grill stands on this site now. This photograph shows the old Black Horse in 1900, probably just before it was demolished. The Black Horse was at 27 Frogmore Street and right next door was the Red Lion. It is not known how long the building that was the old Black Horse was on the site. Records suggest it became a lodging house in the late 19th century. It was rebuilt by the Chesham Brewing Company to the designs of William Huckvale in 1900. In 1962, ownership of the Black Horse was transferred to Benskins. The neighbouring Red Lion was also a Benskins pub. It didn't make sense to have two adjacent pubs under the same management, so the following year the Red Lion was demolished and the Black Horse extended to take up part of the vacated site of the Red Lion. The Black Horse underwent a major refurbishment in 2011, and this is how it's looking now. I'm just going to nip across the car park and see if I can see what's happening at the back of the bell. It's currently undergoing a big refurbishment. The Bell was an old 17th century coaching inn, and it has the oldest surviving licence. I really can't wait to see it after this refurbishment. The Rose and Crown Hotel. On the right in this old photograph you can see the old Rose and Crown Hotel, which was rebuilt in 1906 by the Tring architect William Huckvale. In 2012 the hotel closed and was converted into luxury retirement homes. The town was promised that the lower level would be open to the public with cafes and restaurants. These never materialised. The Green Man, now demolished, was where the entrance to the Memorial Gardens is now, directly opposite the Old Forge, which is at 54 High Street. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Fluffy and Buffy Productions. A big thank you to Mike Bass and Jill Fowler, from whom I'm sure all my old photos originally came from.